William Anderson.
Yes, Sean.
First of all, are you okay sitting in a Montreal Canadiens seat?
I am, as long as the camera can't see the symbol.
Who do you cheer for?
The Toronto.
Yeah, sorry. Game 7 2 years ago was like one of my favorite sporting moments.
That was one of my worst sporting moments.
Yeah, but it was even anticlimactic because there was no like winning overtime goal. It was just like Toronto is going to lose this game. You just knew that from the start. Yeah. So, your parents and your grandfather are Camp Huron foundations here. You spent every summer of your life here. What does it feel like walking around here? Do you feel like this is coming home, or what does this feel like to you?
Yeah, a little bit like coming home. Some things feel familiar.
Yeah.
But for example, the showers and the washrooms.
Yeah.
The beach volleyball court is the exact same.
Yeah. Like if you walk in the Trip Hut, it smells like the Trip Hut. You walk into, I don't know.
Leech Dock is
the swamp. I'm sleeping in the swamp.
Are you in the swamp?
It's the exact same.
Yeah. But things like this are a little bit different and kind of give it a little different feel. And then no tetherball poles and
no tether. You're the only person.
I really wanted to play today. That's really what I wanted to do.
Well, they are raising. Thousands and thousands of dollars at this auction. Maybe tetherball.
Tetherball, they should be brought back.
Yeah, I agree because there's a lot of people just looking for like a little activity to do.
Yeah, and it's not a lot of running. And have fun.
Yeah. So, when your mother was director, was that easy for you? Hard for you?
It was most of the time really easy.
Yeah.
But definitely there was when I started getting older, kind of in my early teens, I think a lot of the male staff thought that they were big brothers to me, and, and things went from always being super easygoing and friendly with some of those older male staff to all of a sudden them teaching me lessons.
I would like an example of here right now of an example of older staff, such as, let's name a name here.
Okay, so an easy one to remember is either Ted
Lockie.
Yeah. Or Alex Casey.
Yes.
Those two definitely thought they were responsible for teaching me.
And how did they go about teaching you?
Mostly just being on top of me, whatever I did, wherever I was.
Like jumping on you, like physically being on top of you.
Yeah, literally, like Alex Casey, I think, and I had some pretty good tussles down at the waterfront. And, about wearing shoes or proper etiquette down at the water. And Teddy, I couldn't jump on a bicycle without him knowing that I didn't have a helmet on. Somehow he always knew I didn't have a helmet and would cut me off in my path. And
now your Uncle Keith was saying Uncle Don made sure that he wanted his sons to set an example for the camp. Like, did you feel that pressure as well?
Maybe as I got older and started working on the staff, I think that probably
you had to represent.
Yeah, it kicked in a little bit, and then just knowing that it was something that my family was always involved with, I think gave me extra motivation to make sure that I was at least doing a decent job and as involved as I could be, and tried to make sure I always was helping with programs and that kind of stuff whenever I could, and I didn't want to be lazy and just kicking back on vacation type deal. And I think that translated later on into my teaching career too. And
Now, Uncle Don has been mentioned here as like a hero of many people. What was he like just as a grandfather?
Oh yeah, he was the best. He
Yeah?
was yeah. He was so funny and so caring. And then he always took me out for canoe rides in the kayaks. And then he was one of the first people to take me on overnights and just across the field or whatever. And so we always had really good times together. And I think what they were saying earlier, just kind of what his idea of what camp should be, I think that really does represent who he was as a person, where he thought that everyone should be able to be who they want to be and be as creative as they can be, because that adds to who they are, and it allows them to be the most intelligent and well-rounded person they can be.
Hmm.
And he was like that as a grandfather too.
Yeah.
And so it was always good to have him.
Now, were you even born when your dad was director?
No.
No.
Yeah, never knew him as a director.
Yeah. What do you think he would have been like if he was director when you were around?
I always wonder what he would be like.
Yeah.
I did work for him one year at his office.
Yeah?
And I think I was the only kid of his 3 kids that could make it through a year working with him.
Yeah.
And
Now he had a reputation for doing night rounds, of
Did he?
like, yeah, lurking
oh yeah,
in places where you did not expect him to be, and then coming down on you. Like,
Yeah.
coming down hard.
yeah.
Yeah.
I could see that, but that's definitely. I think that's his style,
Mhm.
especially back then.
Yeah.
He's definitely a lot softer now, so you could definitely get away with a lot more now than you could back then.
Yeah. And I always felt like even when Heather was director, like he was a force in
Yeah.
the background.
Yeah.
Like he still loved the place. He still wanted things to be a certain way. And,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think so. I think I agree with that.
Did you ever feel pressure that okay, now I got to be director? That someday I'm gonna have to be director of Camp Yoronda?
I was thinking that could be a possibility if my mom or say my sister or someone had been director in between.
Yeah.
I think at the time I was way too young
Yeah.
and immature,
Yeah.
so I wouldn't have been able to handle the responsibilities. But if that opportunity was available now, that would be something I'd definitely consider.
Yeah. Now I was hoping your brother was gonna be here.
Mm.
What is keeping him out of the loop here? What is?
Well, Connor is he's running his own business now.
Yeah.
So he's a landscaper, and
Yeah.
this was his first full summer running his own gig. And
Your mother says he's stubborn.
he is
stubborn.
He's a stubborn. He's a stubborn man.
Yeah.
He is. Yeah. When he wants to do something, he's probably gonna do it.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't want to do something, he won't do it.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, I think he's probably thinking about it today, and I'm sure there's a little part of him that wishes he could come.
Yeah.
Because I think even though he wasn't so involved with camp all the time, it was still a big part of his life. So.
Yeah, and I think that's the way it works for a lot of people who are kind of like thinking, do I want to come to the reunion? You know, is it just too long a drive? I'm
Yeah.
getting older. I've got all these other things going on. But then when you get here, you're in it, and you're
then,
happy to
yeah,
be here.
Yeah, that's what a few of us were like. Steve Pearsall, we were talking about that too. We were kind of, we were him and Han, the other day, thinking, do we really need to go?
Yeah.
Is there going to be a lot of people we even know and that kind of stuff? And then ultimately, you just kind of give yourself the push to come
Yeah.
and make sure you do it. And then it's been awesome
Yeah.
being back. 'Cause it's been so long, and just all the paths and everything, the fields, all that stuff are the exact same.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of get that, you start remembering back when you're, a teenager and early
Yeah.
20s, and just how much fun you had around here.
Yeah.
it was a fun place to be. And when I tell people about how I was raised at a camp up in Muskoka every summer, people just can't believe how lucky I was. And that was what was great about my grandpa and my mom and my dad. They wasn't like they were making a lot of money doing this job, and so they were doing it for their family to have this available to them, but also they were doing it just for everybody to make sure they had a place to come and be themselves and have some fun.
And for the first 35 years of this operation, like the Canadian Diabetes Association took no role in it, and it was the Anderson family camp.
Yeah, my mom, I remember her, she would, I think it was probably January. It was after her winter break, her only break, but usually she's taking us somewhere in skiing or something like that during her only real break as a teacher, because she was here every summer. And then every January, February, all of a sudden, it wasn't school papers piling up. It was applications and resumes, and then her second job, full-time job, kicked in, where she was all of a sudden running Camp Huronda again. And still going to her 9-to-5 teaching job and coaching Amber's rep teams and everything. And then she'd get home and go through applications and resumes and hire people and move people around and get everything organized here and be in contact with whoever was maintenance at the time. And all that stuff was crazy.
Yeah, no break. Like no break during the year. Tough. Tough. But the things you remember and are worthwhile in life, take a lot of work.
So definitely I feel like very privileged that I could grow up at a place like this. And, especially not being diabetic, I wouldn't normally get
I'm not diabetic, and I ended up here just out of a fluke, really.
And I'd been to other camps like Olympia Hockey Opportunity Camp and Madawaska, and they just don't have that same feel as a place like this, where it feels like a community and a family. And those places, it felt like you were just there, you were a client, and sign up for this and go here, and you never really had a counselor present, and I never really knew who the staff were, really. But at Camp Huronda, you always knew exactly who everyone was, and everyone was always super helpful and that kind of stuff. It was just a different feel.
I remember one time that the committee was thinking, okay, camp should expand from like 82 campers or 85 or whatever it was to like 120. And I thought, there's something there you don't want to mess with. You don't want to lose that community feel. By getting too big.
It was nice. It was definitely nice compared to those other camps.
I feel blessed that I ended up here.
It's just one of those places. You see it today, right, with everyone that's here and how happy people are.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime.
All right. Maybe this will be my new gig.
I think you should.
Interviewing people.
Interviewing people in the trees. And,
I'm thinking of calling this maybe Between Two Pines or something.
Instead of Between Two Ferns. I think that
because there is some absurdity to it.
I think that would be good. I think that would work. That'd be a good one.
All right.
I can't get up first because people can't know I'm sitting on Montreal Canadiens chair.